agenda. We have the opening, reading of the agenda, the minutes, the treasurer's report, old business. We have something there in the old business. And new business, we have three things that I know of that might come up before the society. We have a couple of announcements. We have the communications received, the communications sent, and thank yous to the different people, along with a program that we have that we told you about in our newsletter. Is there anything that should properly come before this society? Any additions or changes to the the agenda? Nothing? Good. We opened, of course, and we read the agenda, and now I think we're ready for the minutes.
The meeting was called to order at 8 p.m. by President Jim Gillespie, and the agenda was presented. The minutes of the May meeting were read and approved. The treasurer's report was presented, showing a balance on hand as of September 14th of $10,924.29. The report was approved, subject to audit. Now that Gillespie then gave a committee report on the ice cream social, which had been held in July. It was judged a resounding success. 135 people attended, and most of them toured the museum. 100 posters advertising the event had been distributed to churches and business places. Donations of $151 were received. Expenses totaled $84, leaving a balance of $67, which were given to the society. Under old business, there was a discussion of how we could set up an emergency notification system to keep members apprised of occurrences such as illness or death of members. The membership was asked to give some thought to this matter. Under new business, some brochures from the Historical Society of Michigan have been received concerning a trip to North Carolina. They are also interested in information for a Heritage Route program and sent brochures regarding this. They are also offering a Michigan Historical Association directory, but it was suggested that perhaps the library could take care of this item. Under communications, 11 communications were received since last May, and 94 newsletters were sent out, 14 to other societies. The business portion of the meeting was completed at 8:18, and the program was then presented. Lieutenant Thomas of the Wayne Police told us all about the DARE program for drug prevention among school children, and then Officer Foley and his dog Cuff explained and demonstrated the new canine division of the Wayne Police Department. At the end of the program, cookies and beverages were served and were enjoyed by all. Respectfully submitted.
Does anyone have any corrections or changes to be made to the minutes? Anything we should add? If not, they stand approved as read. Treasurer's report. Wayne Historical Society meeting of Thursday, October 12, 1995. These are all up to date. As our secretary read last month, we had a total of $10,924.29. We had receipts of $115 in dues, one of those being a life membership, and there were three other regular memberships. And disbursements, we finally got around to writing the check for the Wayne Garden Club. We said that we were going to donate $250 to the planting outside. Does anybody remember seeing the planting outside when you walked in? How did it look? Did it look...
Lovely.
Nobody looked. Well, I think those begonias are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and pretty soon they're going to be as high as the windows. Check to the filing fee of $10 to the state of Michigan, and $32 in stamps for a total of $292 expenses, leaving us a balance of $10,747.29. Does anyone have any question concerning the treasurer's report? If not, it stands approved, subject to audit. Sounds like old business. And one of the things that I was going to ask the Garden Club if they expected us to participate again to the tune of $250 for next year or not. But since there aren't too many Garden Club members here right now, we won't ask that question. We'll delay that until December, if that's okay with you. Is there anything else that we should properly bring before the old business that we should properly bring before the association or society? Old business. There is one thing concerning the Garden Club that I'd like to mention is that the Garden Club annually decorates the inside of the museum for Christmas, and I know I've got it written down somewhere, the date that they're coming in, and maybe some of your Garden Club members know, but they're planning on being here at 10 o'clock in the morning, and about the only thing that I feel is my responsibility is to make sure that the Christmas tree gets up on the main floor, because it takes all of, well, it takes a healthier person than me to carry that thing up, and it's in about 3 boxes. But aside from that, the plantings outside are taken care of by the Garden Club, and the decorations for Christmas are done inside. New business. There were a couple of things brought up to me that would normally fall under new business. One is, I'm sure that you people all know that the museum it needs some expansion somewhere. And one of the things is that the filing system is becoming fuller and fuller and fuller. And there is no money in the historical museum budget to take care of such items as an additional file cabinet. And we have been using one of their file drawers, and that thing is so jammed full that we actually need another file drawer. And I'm just wondering what the society would say to the purchase of an additional 4-drawer, legal-sized file cabinet for the museum if they would let us use 2 of the drawers. Now that would give them 3 additional drawers and give us 2.
I'd so move.
Is there support to that motion? There is 2 supports to that motion. Does anyone wish to discuss Mr. Butler?
I'd like to discuss the motion. If this motion passes, I wish there'd be an amendment to it some way. I guess I'll make an amendment to it. Let's don't spend this money until I personally beg the city for an extra however many dollars that is that they can spend to buy us or buy them own selves a file cabinet.
Well,
If I fail that, then I'm all for us doing it. But it seems to me that that they can afford it, and if they can't, I'd like to have them show me how come they can't.
I'll get the violin out. Which one, the little one or the big one? I know that we need additional file room, and the museum has, in fact, I think that the stuff was there before the museum, before the society transferred everything over to the city of Wayne. But we are getting bogged down here and not having enough space. Even in here, you can see that there isn't enough space here either. And so the Historical Commission is trying to do something, planning on doing something about it. But in the meantime, we thought maybe that we could alleviate some of the problem by purchasing additional file cabinets. Your point is well taken, and I think that before we purchase it, that if the body so desires to purchase this thing, that we could delay it long enough to give you an opportunity to talk about it.
Thank you.
Okay? Is there any other question people might have concerning this question? I'm going to call a motion then. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, the same sign. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. Butler, for your input also. It was also indicating to me that the possibility of what the society might think about having a garage sale.
I think it's a good idea.
Well,
What are you gonna, where's your garage? I'd like to know, what are you planning on selling?
I guess if, I'm not planning on selling anything. I would guess, in fact, I would hope that if the society were to hold a garage sale, that we would ask for items of historic value, and that we give the museum staff first chance at, like if this was going to be a Saturday deal, that we ask the historical museum staff to come in and pick out those things that they feel would add to the collection of the museum, and then sell the rest. Now this is just, since the time that this was broached to me, that I just had that in mind that possibly would be good, but I don't know.
Where would this be held, Jim? I mean, where was your location? Here at the museum itself?
Well, that was also brought up. The person that brought it up to me said that in order to not cause confusion here, that they could have, that it could be held in her garage, and then on Monday we could call, if there was anything left over, we could call the Purple Heart, and that they would come and pick up the stuff that was left. My main question would be, nothing is going out of my house. Wait a minute. There's got a couple old tuna fish cans. I don't think I'm going to sell.
Any proceeds, what would be the disposition of that?
Well, it would be a society function, and so I would guess that the society would reap the benefits of it.
Okay.
I wonder, everybody's sitting on their thumbs. I wonder if we should think about this and bring it back at our December meeting and or whatever. I think that we have just about gone the whole route of garage sales lately, except every telephone pole has got 14 signs on it. And I'm wondering if we would have time to publicize this thing sufficiently at this time in December. Maybe we could think about this for a month and come back and maybe have it in April or May or something like that. What's your pleasure? I talk too much. No one is
It
going.
seems to me that anyone could bring anything, because then people, not just old stuff, anything they wanted to take, then you would get those people who were interested in the newer stuff, not the old thing, and you would sell more. I mean, you would sell a lot of things other than older things. And it would benefit the society. It's just to benefit the society, my way.
Now, I guess we're going to have to get, no, never mind. I'm talking as I'm thinking now in terms of a historical commissioner and not in terms of a historical society member, so I've got to hang out here.
Can we postpone it for another month and then bring it back up again and then go from there?
Do you want to make a motion to table this?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, is there a second to that motion? There's a second, 2 seconds to that motion. And tabling motions apparently cannot have any discussion on them. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, the same sign. Okay, then let's table it next month. Then one other thought was brought to me tonight, and it wasn't even put on my new business, but Ellen, do you want to tell us what you just asked me?
Well, I just threw it out, whether we visit another museum at Christmas time like we did last year at the Dearborn Historical Museum. I guess we were invited, weren't we?
We wangled.
Oh, okay.
We also wangled for one to Ypsilanti, and we also have one that was, I wangled one about 5 years ago from Farmington, and we never did get around to going to that one, especially since I found out that they had very, very limited amount of items there 4 or 5 years ago. At the present time, I'm sure that they have more, and we could investigate that also. But the idea is, would we like to go somewhere in December? We do not have a meeting in December. What's your pleasure? Everybody's afraid they're going to get put on the committee.
Not me, I just don't know whether I'm going to be here in December. Whether I'm going to be here or in Wisconsin.
Well, the thing is that if you're the chairman of the committee, well, then you can set the date.
Then I have to
and you
stay
would
home.
be here. No, you would be here for that date that would be set. I know that it does involve a lot of pleasure for people. It does involve a lot of headaches. For the last two involved headaches for at least 2 people. One, my secretary, she took care of most of it. She hasn't met my secretary, she's up here in the front row. The one with the bagel on her head. We were at a meeting one time when a guy somehow didn't remember her name, and he said, the gal with the bagel on her head. Well,
If that's what they're hesitant about, the secretary would be, your secretary would be willing to look into it with help. If they want to do something like that.
you know, that reminds me of a couple of guys coming back from Lansing. One being Tom Brown, the other being Joe Benio. And Joe is one who volunteers for everything. He says, we can do this and we can do that. And on the way back home, Tom said to Joe, who is this we? Is you got a mouse in your pocket or something? Because you keep volunteering and you always involve me. And now it sounds to me like my secretary is involving me in this thing again. And
Well, if they would like something like this,
apparently they don't, because they're all sitting on the phone.
okay.
One person.
Why don't you have a show of hands of people who would be interested in it if we did arrange something like that?
That sounds like a good idea. Let's have a show of hands for those people who might like to have have an outing in December at another museum. All those in favor of that raise their hand and we'll count them all. 3 of them. Oh, there's 5. It looks like we've got about at least half of the group are interested, and so we'll see about. We will. Ellen, you better look because you're going to be one of the.
Yeah, but I'm leaving on the 14th.
We're going to miss on the 13th. It's all out of the blue, you know that. Okay, is there any other new business that should probably come before this meeting? Anyone have anything at all? I have a couple of announcements. We have a tree lighting ceremony on December 5th, and that begins at 7, the tree lights go on at 7 o'clock, and that's sponsored by the Beautification Committee of Wayne. It's Wayne's Christmas tree lighting, and it's right out here in front of the museum, and we're thinking that, the commission is thinking that it's very, very possible that the museum would be open on that particular day, and so that we're making an announcement. December 5th is in your Wayne calendar if you happen to be a resident of Wayne. Another thing that's coming up is First Night program. We've had very good success in the last couple of years, and it's very, very possible that they will again ask the museum to participate, and if they do, the museum again will be open for viewing, probably up to about 8 o'clock in the evening. That's, and First Night, this happens to be December 31st. That's a celebration of a non-alcoholic evening out, and it ends up in Charles Gowdy Park at 11:30, something like that. And then they have the instead of the ball going up, or yeah, I think they do have a ball that goes up there, and just like they do in downtown Times Square. So that those 2 dates, you want to keep them open, and you can participate. We've received communications, or that's the only announcements that I have. Anyone else have any other announcements? We received communications from the Northville Historical Society, the Mill Race Village newsletter, very nice. From the Dexter Aryan Society, Westland Commission sent their minutes, Highland Township, there's newspaper. The Museum Information Services are asking us to purchase a book that I personally don't think that we need, but I'll leave it out here if anybody thinks that they want to look at it, and we can bring it up at our next meeting. And then there was also an ad for a type service for type bonds, and sorry, I can't tell you the name of the company because I threw it away. It was too expensive for me. Sorry. We sent 14 newsletters to other neighboring societies, and we printed a total of 103 newsletters this time, and we had 9 of them left, so that all the rest of them were dispersed in some way or shape or fashion. I wanted to thank Dusty Hill who brought the cookies for last time. She didn't bring any homemade bread. I want to thank Ruth Taylor for decorations of the table and the cups and cream and so forth for the coffee. Ken Batchelor and Virginia Preston for the coffee, cocoa, tea, and whatever else they did up back there in the corner. Lena was here and videotaped the meeting, and we see that he's here again tonight to videotape our meeting, and we want to thank him for that. And we can't forget, of course, Lieutenant Thomas and Patrolman Foley, who presented us with a very nice program last time. And I wish that those who were not here could have been here. And we have it on tape, and if you would like to, I'm sure, talk to the man over there with well, he's got an ear on both sides of his head. Talk to one in one of his ears, and maybe he can make arrangements for you to either purchase it or whatever. I don't know how he disposes of it. Is there anything else that should possibly come before this meeting? If not, then I think we're just a couple minutes late maybe, and getting to our program. I understand, as I went rolling along Vinoy Road one day in June, I noticed a sign up, and it said, celebrating our 50th year. And it just happened to be on a building, and I thought, 50 years? Boy, I guess, how come we didn't hear too much about it? And so I called. It just happened to be the First Presbyterian Church of Wayne, and there was a sign there that said 50th anniversary. And so I called, and I got a hold of a gentleman by the name of Earl Bell. And he said, that sign is 6 months old. We had that anniversary last November. And I said, oh. I don't know what else I could have said. I was rather embarrassed that I didn't see the sign earlier. And I thought, boy, how come we don't have anything in the museum of that particular church? And Mr. Bell sent me a communication showing me a piece that was in the newspaper, and I don't know how many of you people saw it, but it looked and reads well, and I suppose because it didn't affect me immediately, I did not take it up and read it, and probably I should have. And he also sent me a brochure that they had for their 50th anniversary, which is a beautiful piece. And I'm hoping that we will have one of these for our museum here after tonight. I just thought that since they are one of our neighbors, that maybe we ought to learn a little bit more about them. And this evening, I think that we're very fortunate in having two people from the congregation to come and tell us a little bit about the Presbyterian Church of Wayne. One is Hazel, and I believe it's Mrs. Hazel Payne, is it not? And Miriam Mason, also two members from the First Presbyterian Church of Wayne, and let's give them a welcome and listen to what they have to say. I think this might be a little bit high.
Yeah.
Hey, after 50 years, it's nice to be discovered. where we've been quietly doing our business there on the corner for all of that time, or near that corner. Not only do you get to keep that one, I have 4 more copies for you, with one item added, and that is that our present pastor, David Owen, is retiring this month. So I did put that down in at the bottom of the thing. I also have for you 2 of the programs from our 50th celebration, and we'll leave those with you. This has been an activity that I've been a part of almost from the first, not quite. Our first congregation, let me see, I had it here. These are pictures tonight. Just pass these out and let some of them look at them while I talk. The very first congregation met in the basement of the church on Mildred Street. There's an address there. It's right off from Annapolis. And I was not among that very first, but almost that very first group that met there. As we outgrew the basement of that home, it was a mission church sent out by the Presbyterian of Detroit. As we outgrew that, we rented the house across the street to hold Sunday school in. And as we outgrew that, we rented the facilities at Jackson School. And eventually built our own building and then added to it, and several times have refaced it, redecorated it, and so on. The present staff, for the most part, you'll see on these back pages, here and here, some of the scenes from a building, the retirement of our pastor, Bob Dixon, was there for over 30 years. And so that one itself, this is a picture of the Sunday school group when we met in Jackson School. On the inside of the front page is a delineation of our activities through the years. I have been Sunday school teacher, elder, inactive presently, Bible study teacher. We have 2 Bible studies that are non-denominational, one on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, one on Wednesday morning at 10:30. I teach the Wednesday morning. One, Mrs. Bell, Earl's wife, teaches the other. You're free to come. It's interesting, we hope, and we hope it enlightens the people a great deal on this Bible that we mostly live by. There are a number of panels that have been made by the people in our church that help decorate it. The Hazel is better known than I am in the community. We moved here in 1943. So whenever anybody asks me how long I've lived there, I say we've taken root. We're in the same house, and if I'm not too many people who've lived in the same house that long. My husband and I got to celebrate our 50th wedding anniversary before he passed away 2 years ago. Hazel has been much more active in the community. I had 5 children. That kind of limited some of my activity. They all went to school in the Wayne school system. They grew up here. They married for the most part here. And then it's scattered. I have 1 daughter living with me presently. I have 1 granddaughter living with me presently. And 2 great-granddaughters living with me presently. So we still have an active house. This is the program for the Sunday that we celebrated our 50th anniversary. And at the bottom of the back page is the words of a song that I heard several times over the television. And I became very attracted to it. And our choir eventually sang it. In fact, we had a miracle, because I had going to take the copy of the music and the words to our choir director to ask him to have the choir sing. He happened to step into when I was talking to my Bible study group about it, and he said, "God works miracles. We're planning you to sing that one next Sunday." The words of it, I think you will find interesting. Oh, may all who come behind us find us faithful. May the fire of our devotion light their way. May the footprints that we leave lead them to believe, and the lives we live inspire them to obey. Oh, may all who come behind us find us faithful. After all our hopes and dreams have come and gone, and our children sift through all we've left behind, may the clues that they discover and the memories they uncover because of the light that leads them to the road we each must find. Thank you. Hazel, would you like to say a few words?
I've kind of been the head cook at the church for many, many years. Dinner is, we make the main course, and people bring salads and desserts the third Sunday of the month. So this Sunday, you're welcome to come and have dinner with us. The last Sunday of this month is a dinner for the retirement of our minister right after church, so you're welcome.
Well, thank you very much, ladies, for bringing us up a little bit on that information. I don't know if those of you who have had a chance to look at those booklets, did they get passed all the way across or not? Maybe she told us about the beginnings of the church and the first worship services, and the fact that it was a mission outreach, and that they have graciously had the Lord's blessings to meet for 50 years, and now almost 51 years. In talking today to Earl Bell, he informed me that the pastor was going to be leaving, and I suppose this could be good, could be bad, but most of us associate ourselves with a pastor of a church, and we generally learn to love them, and we hate to see them go. And I think that that must be the same with you, because in talking to both Pastor Owen and his wife, I found them very cordial, and I only talked to them on the phone. And so that I guess I feel for you people for losing your pastor, but I also am sure that you will again receive a new pastor who will continue to lead you along your same faith way.
We trust God we will.
Does anyone have any questions that you would like to ask these ladies concerning their church? If not, we want to thank you for coming, and we certainly will place the things that you have given us in the archives here at the museum, and make them available if anyone else ever wants to see them. We may come back later at some time and ask you for a picture of your church as it now looks, because we have underfoot a plan of establishing a bulletin board or something to show the churches in our area, and so we may need one of these, one of your buildings to show your new building. Your building as it stands today. If there is any other business that should come before this meeting, if not, I wonder. I understand that the butlers are going to provide treats today. I see that thingy that I'm supposed to make and take a plan of and make one of. You give me that jig every Are we ready back there for retreats? If so, then let's all stay for a little while and get together, socialize, and what have you.
You've been there all the time? I didn't see you before. I did see
A
you.
glass of sweet cider. And we haven't had a chance to let it get hard yet. Thank you all for coming.